I guess this is Arcadia. So this is the interesting part of Route 66 in this part of the world. So yeah, I've got one I gotta wait on here. Now I'm gonna go over to 177. We came up on 77 and kind of lost it in the city. It got kind of chewed up by city streets. So we're going over to 177, which is about 8 or 9 miles over here. Probably should stop here and find a place to pee, since their bathrooms there weren't working, but I think I'll be okay for the moment anyway. If I get over here to 177, I'll be out enough. If I need to stop and pee, I can probably just stop and pee. Probably won't be as populated. So we are northeast of Oklahoma City, and we're east of Edmond on Old Route 66. We are just going to keep on going. I'm going to bring my maps up and aim for home. The same restrictions. Actually, I can run this road back down. Looks like quite a ways. And maybe skip a lot of the metro area without going too far east, which appeals to me, because I don't want to go too far east and add a whole bunch of mileage. But I do want to stay out of the city. Especially now, it's getting into afternoon now. It's 1:15. Is it 1:15? Is my clock right there? I guess it is. I do not want to get into the city during a rush hour. So I'm early enough, I think I'm okay. Won't have any rush hours. So we're headed south on Hiwassee Road, and I saw this earlier. I think this dumps out somewhere down by Norman, but I'm not sure. 18 miles to something 59th Street, so that's at least going to put us back on the south side of Oklahoma City, I would say. So, no, if you're wondering, I have not started building my kitchen cabinets and doors yet. I'm dragging my feet on that because I don't have all the saws dragged up onto the front porch in position to do the cutting necessary to do that with. And I'm not going to try and move the table saw by myself. I'm going to wait till I have help to do that, and that won't happen until next weekend, I guess, if then. Blue and Gold Sausage Company. Huh. Sausage that all the high school kids sell. The FFA kids. I didn't know they actually had a Blue and Gold sausage factory, but they do, lo and behold. Who knew? So anyway, I'm not set up to start building them yet, but I've been thinking a lot about it. And the only thing that really worries me about building my own cabinet doors is not getting good flat plywood, because I can't have it warping and then have the doors not closing properly. You know, that's going to be kind of a big thing, and I'm not sure. I just, you know, it's just something I'm going to have to investigate further and figure out what and how to deal with it, what to do and how to deal with it. So I'm not ready for that yet. And if push comes to shove, I'll find somebody to do it for me. That, you know, if I try it and it fails on me real bad, then I guess I'll have to find somebody to do it. But I'm going to try it first. I'm going to try it and see. Why would the school thing be on today? There's no school today. Somebody forgot to flip the switch on their school zone lights. I'm not going to speed through it anyway. The lights are on, they can give you a ticket. Jones. Oh, I'm in Jones. Okay. I think I may be north of Pink then. And yes, there's a town called Pink, Oklahoma. There's also a town called Corn, Oklahoma. Among lots and lots of other funny town names. This river bottom down here, that dirt is so red. Good old red dirt. This is a lot better than the trip up. I mean, I'm staying well outside the city here with all this. Kind of a neat house up on this hill here. You may be able to see it well. The trees are like right in front of it. There's a big old farmhouse up there. Looks old anyway. It may be. It's a big old house though. So unfortunately, this is kind of the thought that's going to be dominating my mind for the next several months until I get all this stuff done. It's just the way it's going to have to be, I guess, because all this has got to get done. And it's not going to get done if I don't do it. I mean, yeah, I could probably, if I felt super lazy and had lots of money, I could hire somebody to come in and do a lot of this. But, you know, I'm not feeling super lazy and I don't have lots of money, so I'm going to have to do it myself anyway. What I may do, like right before I put the house on the market, is have somebody come in and professionally clean it. I may do that. Just make sure everything's squeaky clean. But there's another whole part of this that I've got to try and figure out the timing on. At some point, because right now I've got the cats contained to the laundry room. At some point, I want to convert part of the shed, which is where all of my stuff going to Craig is going to be stored. I want to block off the part of that, maybe with plastic sheeting or whatever, so the cats can't get into it. And just use whatever's left of the room in the shed to move the cats out to for their indoor space, because I've got a cat door I can put on the shed, so I can do all that, and it'll be, you know, same difference. They'll be in a climate controlled area, and I can put all their feed and beds and all that, just like I've got them set up now in the laundry room. It would just move them to the shed, and that way they won't be in the house, so when people come look at the house, the first thing they smell isn't going to be cats, you know. I've still got the problem with the dogs and the dog hair, because Molly sheds like crazy. She sheds more than any dog I've ever owned. And I had a couple of Pyrenees that didn't shed as much as Molly sheds. She's got a really super thick, fluffy coat, and she sheds like crazy. So, I mean, I have to fight that, but that's manageable. As long as I vacuum every day, you know, once or twice a day. I can keep that. I can keep up with that. But as far as like smells, I just as soon not have any animal smells in the house when people come look at it. What did I do? Did I lose my... What happened here? I think I just lost my phone. Just died, I think. Not sure why. Let's see what's going on here. What is going on? Is it full? I couldn't filled up a whole card on that. No. Okay, I don't know what's going on with that. If it quits, we just won't have a inward-facing camera for the rest of this trip. I don't know what the deal is. Should be fine. It's plugged in. I've got like a 600 gigabyte card in there, and it's not like super high quality videoing it's doing. It's not like the front one. The front camera records at a high resolution, like 3,000 and something by something. But yeah. What in the heck? What did I do? I guess we're okay. Oh, I've got to jog a mile to the east here in at the next section. That's what's going on. Okay, so anyway. That's definitely something that I'm planning, but I'm not going to do that until spring, just because it's easier to climate control that with the air conditioner than it is with the heater. And the air conditioner will be needed in it by February, I'm pretty sure. So I'm kind of looking at that time frame of getting the cat's central station, so to speak, moved out into the shed. But by that point, everything that I'm taking with me out of the house should be stored in there securely, and then I can get it all, covered up and keep it away from them, keep them out of it. This is where I jog a mile to the east, I guess. There's a lake down here. I think it might be Stanley Draper. I'm not sure which lake it is. It might be Thunderbird. Anyway, I've got to go around it. Heard something rolling around in the back of the truck, and I don't think there should be anything rolling around back there. What the heck is that? Unless I accidentally left something in there, which I guess I could have done when I hauled trash the other day. Four-tenths of a mile south on 72nd. Cleveland County. So we've made it through Oklahoma County into Cleveland County now. Some pretty good signage, or I wouldn't have been ready for this, I don't think. Maybe. Oh, maybe I would have been. Oh, well. Anyway, so that's what's going on in my mind, that I'm actually glad to get a break from, so that I can kind of sort it out. Talking about it helps me sort it out better. Just so you know, guys, if your woman is talking to you about what sounds like a problem, she's probably just trying to get it sorted out in her own mind. She's not looking for you to solve the problem for her necessarily, unless she says so. I mean, if she says, hey, I don't know what to do about this, what the hell, then yeah, but it helps. I don't know if it helps guys do that, talk about something, talk it out, figure it out. It does me, though. So I don't know if it's just a woman thing or if it's just a human thing. Probably a little bit of both. Okay, this is good. We're back on, we are going to be back on 77 soon because we're not too far from Slaughterville, which is the way we should have come up. We should have come up through Slaughterville. But I missed 77 coming out of Purcell.
Well, it might be Purcell. I think we made it to Purcell. That was quick.
Yeah, we're just across the river from Purcell. Okay. I think I'll run back down. Well, I could cut across over through Washington, the town, not the state or the capital, just a little town. And Maysville, if I was so inclined, or I can run back down 77 and then over the back way from Paul's Valley back over to Elmore City, which I think I'd rather do that. I think I like that better. That means I won't have to be driving east or west for the next hour with the sun trying to blind me here. Hogs and dogs hunting. Wonder if that's the same guy who has ducks and bucks. They seem to like spelling things oddly. Hell was that? Startled the shit out of me, whatever it was. Somebody revving something up. Somebody thinking they're being cute, I guess. Bell Star Saloon. Huh. Purcell. I don't remember ever seeing that sign before. I wonder if that's new. Not that I would know, because Bill and I never went to saloons. I think we went to the casino maybe 3 times the whole time we've been down here. So we went once, took Brian. Well, might have been 4 times. We went to 2 concerts up at Norman at the casino there. And those weren't really like bars, those were casinos. And then we went again to the casino down in Duncan with Barb and Tom for lunch. Not big partiers, I can tell you that. Now, there was a time when I liked going to the bar and hanging out and, you know, enjoying all that live music and playing pool and drinking and being silly. But I outgrew that a long time ago, so, you know. Pretty much being a cop put an end to that for me, except for like city functions, like if we had Christmas parties or whatever, then I would go and enjoy myself. But as far as just going to the bar after that, I never did. I didn't want to be caught out in a bar by the same people that I was doing bar checks on when I was in uniform. Yeah, it just seemed illogical to put myself into that kind of a situation. So I didn't. But seemed like a dumb thing to do as an off-duty cop, to go to the bar. So I just stayed out of there and minded my own business. I don't know about you guys, but those Tesla trucks are so friggin' ugly. They're fugly. They are just butt ugly. I guess they're okay. I mean, you know, if that's what you like, but talk about seriously ugly. There's nothing aesthetically pleasing about them to me. Anyway, I imagine there are some people who think they're lovely and all that, but I ain't one of them. I do not like the looks of them. Cars aren't so bad. I mean, they're not as like intentionally futuristically weird looking as the trucks are. I don't think, anyway. It's like if I was going to try and design the ugliest possible vehicle, the design for the Tesla truck is probably close to what I would come up with. You know, just boxy and all smooth with no characteristics whatsoever, no charisma, no charm, no nothing, just cold, angular, uncharming, fugly, yeah, just fugly. can see the smoke cloud now, I guess. We're not going over there to look at it though. We're gonna go ahead and get out of town. Try and get home here. It's 3 o'clock, so if I get home by 4, that'll be good. Then the chickens will be ready for bed about 5:30. So days are getting infinitesimally longer now. So maybe 5:35 or 5:40 tonight that they actually go in. Or not. Okay, we're going to run over here and take the back way from Paul's Valley over to Elmore City. So we're deviating from the way we came in. We came in on 77 from down south of here. But we're going to cut off this big corner here. I'm also going to stop and find a place to pee before I get too far gone here. Guess I could go get a Starbucks, but I really don't want to spend that kind of money. I don't know why. I mean, you know, once a month or once every 2 months, I guess it's all right. It's just a lot for a cup of coffee. Guess maybe I will though. What the heck? Yeah, these people hate running the speed limit. They hate it. There was a trooper too. Slowed her down for a minute. That was all it slowed her down for him. Yet half a millisecond. Deputy either just got a call or he didn't like the looks of somebody in that van. to the Starbucks from here. I think it's up here. It's not on the ramp. I don't want the ramp to I-35. Pretty sure on that. I'm not even sure where the hell to park here. Too many handicap spots. Too many squinchy little spots. We'll clear out here. All right, so I feel so much better. Took a while to make this. I had to stand there and wait quite a while. I think it's going to be good. I haven't had one of these yet for a while, long time. That's really good. Really, really good. I got a peppermint mocha. They only make those a certain time of year, which is Christmas time, Christmas season. They can make a facsimile of it, which I had, when I went to Wichita Falls, I think I had to make me one, but it wasn't quite the same. It was good. It wasn't quite the same. It was just a little different. It was much better. Like a herd of cattle coming down the road here. Okay, so I'm actually going to intentionally get on I-35 for a few minutes. Like about 2.5 or 3 minutes. Just enough to get down to the next exit and catch my little road that cuts across over to Elmore City. And for those of you who don't know how to merge into traffic on the interstate, you don't creep onto the interstate doing 45, waiting for somebody to let you in. You look, and if you've got room, you get up to speed and get your ass over in the slower lane until you're completely up to speed. And if you're not clear, you adjust your speed so that the traffic can pass you, and then you slip in behind them. You don't come out and make them move over, force them over into the other lane because you're too dumb to merge. You don't have the right-of-way merging. The existing traffic has the right-of-way. It's one of my basic pet peeves with stupid driving. One of my most hated driving errors, and one of the most dangerous. It's just ridiculously stupid. Anybody who's stupid enough to not know how to merge should not be smart enough to get a driver's license. I don't know how it happens. It doesn't make any sense to me. But no, you don't just get to barge onto the interstate and make everybody else move over or stop for you to let you in, because you do not have the right of way. But if you got an open door there, floor it and get going. Don't sit around and waste time. Get your butt across. My official merging advice. Merging for dummies. I don't know how people can drive and not know how to merge. It just baffles me. You know, I'm pretty sure they covered that in both driver training and in just the regular driver's handbook. You know, if you don't take driver's ed or you don't go to driving school, I'm pretty sure you can still get this information for free in the driver's handbook that everybody gets to study for the test. Well, just a clue to the maybe not so bright. It's not just for the test, it's the rules of the road. So it's something you need to learn and abide by if you're going to be out here driving. I mean, really, bottom line. How'd I get off on that tangent? Oh, because I actually merged successfully without causing any accidents. Imagine that. Be careful going around these old boys. I know they're sitting in line waiting to get in there. Just in case one of them decides to get rambunctious and come popping out of line. Just want to be cautious. Okay. get back to my western scenery. I mean, I've been pretty content to be a southerner for the duration of the time down here, traveling all through the southeast and all that, hauling trailers into Louisiana and Florida and Alabama and Georgia and all over the dang place. Texas, all over Texas. So I've enjoyed it, but I'm ready to get back to my western scenery. That scenery is why I like West Texas so much, because when I got out to somewhere out in the vicinity of West Texas, out past Wichita Falls and over, it started looking like western scenery with more sagebrush, less trees, just more, mesas and buttes. Just looking more western. And I think that's why I like that part of the country so much. So it was as close as I could get to a western type of scenery in this region, And it wasn't like being in Colorado. Obviously. But it was the closest place to see something that looked like the West to this area. Because it's just, this area is not western looking. It's southern or eastern looking. It's all the timber, all the vegetation. But I'm really looking forward to getting back to Craig, because there's a certain place in Craig I like to sit and just look at the hills. It's right in town. I used to sit there when I was on like night shift or morning shift, early in the mornings. Nothing was going on, and I had already checked all the doors and done everything, and there was nothing I had to do. I'd take a minute and just sit in this parking lot up at Murdoch's. It's like a Tractor Supply type of store. I'd go sit up in the parking lot at Murdoch's and just look out across the valley and look over toward Knez Divide, and especially in the winter. I really love that view. It's just a really good, solid western view, and I can't explain it, because Craig is not mountainous in the sense that Aspen or Steamboat Springs or like Evergreen or even Bailey, not mountainous in that sense. Craig is like a river valley out in the sagebrush hills, more or less. So it's different. It's just not, there's not an overage of trees there. It's not like there's aspens all in the valley. Down by the river there's cottonwood trees and a few aspens, I guess. And of course in town there's whatever kinds of trees people plant, There's a different variety of trees in town, but on the native landscape, trees are pretty rare until you get up into the mountains, up into the timber. So the typical western landscape to me isn't trees, that you can't see anything but trees. The typical western landscape to me is a wide open vista dotted with distant landmarks that you can see because there aren't any trees in the mix. There's sagebrush, rabbitweed, stuff like that, but it's not like it's just obliterated like it is here. Like, you can't see very far here. The trees are just in the way. You can't see the scenery for the trees. So this is not western looking to me. I miss that open vista kind of view, that kind of scenery. So I'm going to really be glad to be getting back to that, because I've missed that. There's something about it that just does me good to see it. You know, it's like something in that speaks to me somehow. It's where I'm supposed to be, I think, is all it is, you know. I mean, we came back here because this was where Bill's destiny was. He wanted to come back here and work here and be here around his family and all that. And he did, you know, and it was good. But now it's time for me to, I think, kind of turn around and head toward my destiny. And I don't believe that this is my destiny. I hope it's not, because I'd be mighty disappointed if it was. I think I'm destined to go back where I belong, which is out west, because I'm a lot of things. I'm a mixture of a lot of things, because I've lived a lot of places, have a lot of family influences in different ways, but most of all, above everything else, I'm a Westerner. I was born a Westerner. That's what I grew up with. I mean, in my mind, I didn't associate myself as a Southerner or a Northerner or any of that. I was a Westerner, you know. I was a Western girl. And I want to go back out west. That's where I want to be. I don't want to be here. Not that there's anything wrong with it here. I mean, it's pretty, and I've enjoyed being here. Well, until Bill died, I enjoyed being here most of the time. But I'm just over it. You know, there's just nothing here for me. And there's not even anything here that I really want to look at anymore. You know what I mean? I mean, it's pretty and all that, but it's just not, this is not the scene I want to see when I wake up every day for the rest of my life. You know? As pretty as the farm is, as pretty as the view is from the hill up there, because the farm sits on a hill, and as pretty as that is, you're going to come right out in the road, dingbat, shit, people are so, man, and things are going to stop. But this is not the view I want to see every day. As nice as it is, as beautiful as it can be, it's just not what's calling to me, you know? So anyway, not to be all real weird about it or anything, but I just want to get back to seeing what looks normal to my eyes. And to me, that kind of scenery looks normal. I like it, I enjoy it, I can appreciate it, and I feel comfortable in it, you know? I like being able to see about 40 miles, you know? I like being able to look across a whole dang valley and see, you know, the hills coming up out of the other side. Something that's really charming about that, and something pretty neat about the air being thin enough that things that are far away look like they're close enough to touch almost. You know, it's a phenomenon that you don't get here. It doesn't look like that here. As pretty as it may be, it's just different. So, yeah. So I'm really, really looking forward to getting back out there and enjoying that. Another thing I'm looking forward to is cool nights in the summer. Here in the summer, it's hot. It's hot from the start of the summer till the end of the summer, till the end of the fall, and halfway through winter. But in Colorado, up at that elevation, even in the hottest days of summer, it's usually cool at night. It's not always, but it usually is. I mean, there might be one or two warmish nights a year or whatever. But generally speaking, there's kind of a cool crispness to the night air. And you just don't get that here. And it gives you relief. It balances out the dry heat up there. And it's just something I really like. I like waking up there early in the morning when it's still cool and getting out and getting around, and then, you know, feel the warmth of the day build up. So something about that's just really enjoyable. So I'm really looking forward to that. Really, really. I'm looking forward to having places to go look for rocks. Something that is rare around here. I mean, there are a few places in Oklahoma that I can go, and I have been to them, where you can actually go out and look for rocks and maybe find something. They're few and far between, and it's just inconvenient. It takes 3 or 4 hours to get there from here. I mean, there are no rocks in Stevens County, except unless you count the ones in my rock garden. So all the rocks in Stevens County are imported, and most of them by me, I think. So I hope somebody doesn't hate those, because I'm not taking them all back with me. I'm not going to load up 2 pickup beds full of rocks and take those back to Colorado when I can go out and get all more of them I need. I'll pick my certain ones that I don't think I'll be going back to get any more of, like my Arkansas crystals and things like that, but I'm not going to load up everything. So, I mean, but I'm just looking forward to going home, really. You know, I didn't appreciate Craig as my home when I was there, but now that I'm not there, I really do appreciate it more as being my home. It's not my hometown. I mean, if you count hometowns as being your home, mine would be Denver, and I can't stand Denver. Denver's a big, dirty, nasty, stinky, polluted, crap-filled city, big smog bowl. I hate Denver. I don't like anything about it. So, you know, for me, I don't get to claim my actual birthplace as my hometown, because I don't want any parts of it. But Craig is the one place that I consistently have kept going back to after all these years. And it's the place where my family's at. So, I mean, to me, that is home. So, that's what I'm looking forward to. I'm really, really looking forward to that. You know, hopefully, God willing, all this will fall into place. Everything will work out, and I'll be able to move back there hopefully before next fall. Because I want to get there before any chance of it snowing, because I don't want to be moving in the snow. Been there, done that. It sucks. I really don't want to do that again. So I'd like to, you know, hopefully, if everything times out the way I hope it will, it would be ideal, I think, if I sell the house and close on it in late summer or very early fall, and then I can just get out of here, you know, skedaddle. So the one thing that I can't find a way around is the cats. I'm going to have to take them with me. So I have to just accept the fact that I'm going to have to move 4 old damn cats 1,000 miles, and they're not going to like it. And I'm not going to like traveling with them, because it's going to be stinky and disgusting, because it always is traveling with cats. It sucks. But, you know, I've done it before. I guess hopefully we'll all survive it, if they're all alive to move when it comes time to move, because some of them may not make it that long anyway. They're old cats. Whatever ones are alive, I'll have to move. So, you know, there is that. That's not going to be any fun. That, and then I've got somehow I'm going to have to get 4 cats and 2 dogs in this truck. I don't know how that's going to work out. We'll see, though. I guess across that bridge when we get to it. I can't even get Tuck to get in the truck. He does not like riding in the vehicle. He never has. So I've been trying to work on him to get him, see if I can get him in the Jeep. Take little drives around just on the farm. You know, just drive around a little bit and then get out. And then, so he gets the idea that it's not going to be a bad thing for him, for us to go in the Jeep. Maybe he'll get in a little more willingly. So far, he ain't buying it. He's like, oh, hell no. I know you're trying to kill me. No. I'm not getting in there. So I've got it more convincing to do, obviously, as he's not buying into it whatsoever yet. Man, that's good. 13 more miles. We're getting there. Gotta check the mail going in the driveway. I should be getting an electric bill here any moment, probably today, I would suspect. Unless the holiday slowed it down a little bit. Try to stay on top of that, because if I don't get those paid on time, it's like $30 of a late fee, and I don't ever want to have to pay that late fee. So I'm like seriously compulsive about getting my electric bill paid. So I had one time, like, I don't know, last year sometime, when Bill was still alive, I had set it up through the bank to pay it, and it was like a day late getting to the bank, and the bank or getting to the city, and the bank had plenty of time to get it to the city, but for some reason somebody dragged their feet and didn't send it out for a couple days after I set it up. And so the city tacked the $30 late charge onto my account. So I called the bank. I was like, man, y'all really screwed me up here. You costed me $30 because you didn't get my payment out back when I set it up to go out, because I'd set it up like 2 weeks before. Plenty of time for them to get it out, and they're usually quicker to pay stuff. You know, it usually goes really quick. So she said, well, she actually said, let me call the city for you and see if we can get them to take that late charge off. She said it is our fault. She looked it up. She's like, yeah, so I don't know what happened, but so she called the city. I didn't call the city. She called the city, and the city agreed to take that charge off because my bank called them. But they said they could only ever do that once. I'm like, okay, well, if it's not my fault, you shouldn't do it at all, but okay, I'll take it this once, and I'll just never let this happen again. So since then, I've become extremely finicky about how my electric bill gets paid, because I never want to have to pay that. It's outrageous to me that they can get by with that to start with, you know. And I understand that they have to be that way, or there are people who will abuse it and never pay their electric bill, and you know, and then all that. But I don't know, somebody's good about paying their bills and you don't have any problem with them, I don't think you necessarily need to slap them with a $30 late fee because one time their check got in a day later because of the bank, which evidently they agreed with that because they took it off there. But still, you know, the idea that they were willing to do it kind of pissed me off, to be honest. But I wasn't going to go to war with them either, you know. I just wanted to get it off of there so I didn't have to pay it. Yeah. Nothing like dealing with utility companies, and there's nothing like dealing in Oklahoma with utility companies that happen to be the city that you live in also, or the city entity where you live, because a lot of these towns have their own electric companies, and that's what Marlow has. So I'm pretty spoiled right now. That's the only utility I pay every month. I mean, well, unless you count internet as a utility, I guess you could. But I don't pay a water bill. I buy my propane once a year, so it's just kind of a fixed rate of about $400 a year, give or take. Or that's what it's averaged over the last few years. And so, you know, I've just got this crazy electric bill, and sometimes it's $100, sometimes it's $300. It just depends on what time of year. Since Bill died, it's gone down a lot because I turned lights off. He never did. He liked having the lights on, and he was paying the bill. I didn't care. You know, if it's something he wanted to do, I wasn't going to give him grief over it. But he would do that. He would, you know, keep his lights on. There's a cemetery out there. I didn't know that. It's crazy. I think that's new. Wow. Okay. But yeah, since he died, I just turned all the lights off. You know, just turn them all off. Makes a difference. Makes a lot of difference. That, and I don't have fans blowing everywhere too. He was big on fans. He liked having fan air blowing on him all the time. I don't care for that, but like I say, I mean, he was paying the bill for it, so I didn't care. I'm just not going to pay extra if I don't have to. Now that it's just me, it seems kind of silly. So I'm going to have to readjust to living in a town situation again, where I have a water bill and a trash bill and a sewer bill and electric bill and a natural gas bill and whatever other utility bill they come up with that I need to, you know, that I must have to be a viable citizen of the town once again. The worst bills that I remember in Craig were the water bills. I had a house up on a hill and I had a relatively big yard. I had about a 12,000 square foot yard. And for the first couple of years I lived there, most of it had grass on it, so I would water it. I quit that after a while real quick, and I cut it back to just a little patch of sod in the front and lava rock everywhere else, because it was costing me a fortune just running the water to water the yard. It's like, man, I'm not going to keep doing this. So I went down to, like, not xeriscape, but I cut the landscaping way back as far as that, and just didn't encourage the yard to grow that much after that. It was like, man, that's just crazy. So I think I had like a $200 or $300 water bill one month, and this has been 20 years ago. It was a lot more money. That was an insane amount of money. It's like, nope, we're not doing that. Just not doing it. So wherever I do get, I'll probably put in a garden in the back that I can have. I'd really like to grow raspberries. Of everything that I could grow, I'd like to grow asparagus and raspberries. Those are two things I really like that just don't grow here worth a crap. It's too hot here for them. And I've just never had any luck with either one of them here. But I'd like to have a little garden, not anything big, and a little bit of grass, and a little push mower, so when I go out to mow it, I don't have to work on any engines or have any noise or anything like that. I just go out and push mow it and get it done. And then have everything else, you know, landscape, rock or bark or whatever, to where I don't have to waste water on it. Because out west, water costs money. Water is expensive. Electricity is expensive and water is expensive. So those are two things I'm not going to be wasting when I get out there. And even if I have a big yard, I'm going to have to whittle it down and make it a smaller yard, because I'm just not willing to put that much money into, you know, a patch of green grass. I'd rather have a little garden with something nice in it and just a little tiny patch of grass, just, you know, out back by the patio or whatever. And then in the front, maybe just turn it all into gravel parking or whatever, you know. You can always use parking. And parking maintenance is a lot cheaper than lawn maintenance. It's not necessarily as pretty, but there are ways to make it not so ugly too. Yeah. It doesn't have to just be gray parking lot rock. It could be, you know, prettied up somehow. With some greenery and planters or whatever like that. Man, I've about talked my head off. Yak, yak, yak. That was a longish trip. I think I left the house at 9 this morning, or 9:30, and it's almost, well, it's 4:13 now, so I got back a little later than I expected to. Not much, 13 minutes later. By the time I get there, it'll be 15 minutes later, so that's still a pretty long day. But I feel good about it. I feel good for getting out and seeing some scenery, getting some sunshine. Crazy people. I swear people fly up and down this road like it's an interstate. They want to run high speed. They just go that way a mile and they've got 70 mile an hour zone. They'd rather run that speed over here for whatever reason. It's crazy. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me, to be honest. Maybe it's just that they're so used to running 70, they just think they need to run 70 wherever they're at, whatever the road they're on. Okay, we got this nursery school or whatever this thing is here on the corner now. It started out as a bar, then it turned into a pot grow, and now it's some kind of kids thing. Oh, then it was a kids gymnastics place for a little while. And now it's like a preschool of some kind. I don't know if it's like a Head Start or daycare. Probably just a daycare. But anyway. Oh, my cracky neighbors are up and moving around. Crackheads are us. I'm sorry, but it's true, you know. Druggies with crap all over the yard. You can tell they're meth heads because they take shit apart and can't put it back together. The classical tell. Every meth house I ever searched was like that. They all had tons of machinery laying around outside of them that had been dismantled, and they didn't have the intelligence or the know-how or the patience to put it back together because they were all cracked out on meth. So there'd just be piles of shit torn apart, pieces of everything here and there, inside and outside. Now outside it'd be bigger machinery, inside it'd be stereos, whatever. Just being pieces all over the table. Not kidding, not exaggerating.